All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the deep end, China's auto market. It's the biggest in the world, the most competitive, and right now, based on what we're seeing in mid-2025, it's going through an absolutely massive shakeup. We're talking about forces that are rewriting the entire rulebook. So if you just glance at it, yeah, the market looks like it's just booming. But peel back that top layer, and what you see is this fierce battle that's totally rearranging the pecking order of who's on top. So the big question is, who are the new kings of China's auto industry? Let's dig in. Okay, so here's the number everyone sees first. 14.1%. That's the overall market growth from July last year to this year. And you look at that and think, wow, okay, the market is absolutely on fire. But that number, it's kind of deceptive. The real story, the much more interesting story, is what's going on underneath that big number. To really get it, you have to understand this one key thing. The market is split right down the middle. It's really a tale of two completely different stories. All right, so on one side, you've got your passenger cars. The cars that people like you and me are buying. That part of the market is just taking off, helped along by strong consumer demand and even some government trade-in programs. But then you've got the other side, commercial vehicles. We're talking trucks, vans, buses, that whole world. And it's a completely different picture. It's a much slower, steadier path, really tied to things like the real estate market, although you are starting to see electric models give it a little bit of a boost. And this chart just lays it out perfectly, right? You can see just how big that gap is. So through the first 7 months of 2025, passenger cars up 13%, nice and strong. But commercial vehicles only up 6%. I mean, that's less than half the speed. It's crystal clear that the real energy, the real driver here, is the consumer. So that leads to the next question, right? What is actually powering that boom in passenger cars? Well, it isn't just that people are buying more cars, it's that they're buying a totally different type of car. And that is changing absolutely everything. And it all boils down to this one little acronym, NEV. It stands for New Energy Vehicle. It's the official Chinese term for anything that plugs in. So battery electrics, plug-in hybrids, the whole lot. And let me be clear, this segment is the undisputed #1 growth driver in the market. If you take away one thing, it's this. And wow, look at this. This chart tells you everything you need to know. It's just a crazy contrast. Sales of traditional gasoline cars, they actually dropped by 3%. Meanwhile, NEV sales, they exploded, up 36%. This isn't just a little bit of growth. This is a huge shift, a massive migration of buyers from old tech to new tech. And to put a number on that explosion, just look at July of 2025. In that 1 month alone, NEVs were responsible for 270,000 times extra car sales. That's the growth. So yeah, this is not some slow, gradual transition we're watching. This is a full-on revolution happening right before our eyes. Okay, so when you have a tech shift this massive, it's never just about the cars themselves. It sends shockwaves through the companies that make them. It creates what you could call a seismic upheaval. And that's exactly what's happening. The old leaderboard of car companies is being torn up, and a new one is being written as we speak. And listen, the analysis we're looking at is pretty blunt about it. It says, and I'm quoting here, that the manufacturer landscape has changed dramatically. It talks about severe divergence in growth. What that really means is some companies are just flying high, while others are in a nosedive. And this table gives us a great snapshot of that new reality. Look at the rankings for July. Who's at the top? BYD. They're the leader in NEVs, so no surprise there. Right behind them, you got Geely and Chery, both showing really strong growth. And then you see the other side of the story. You look down the list and see a name like SAC, one of the huge traditional state-owned companies, noted as being in sharp decline. It's a whole new world. What's truly mind-blowing about all this is how fast it happened. Seriously, we are not talking about a gradual, decade-long shift. Look at this timeline. A few years ago, the picture was totally different. But the NEV wave came in so fast that it just completely reshuffled the deck. The old guard, the big established players, they just couldn't pivot quickly enough. So that gets us to the really crucial question. Why are these particular companies winning? Is it just luck? No, not at all. The analysis points to a very clear pattern, a common thread that explains who's on top now. And here it is. This is the key insight. It's a fundamental shift from state-owned giants to private companies. The source calls these private players the new main force of the industry. They're faster, they're more agile, and they're taking over. So think about the names we've been talking about. The winners: BYD, Geely, Chery, Great Wall. What do they have in common? They're all private companies. They didn't just adapt to the NEV wave. In a lot of ways, they created it. And now they're the ones driving innovation and grabbing all that market share. Okay, so let's just pull this all together. We started with what looked like simple, strong market growth, but we quickly saw that number was hiding a huge split between passenger and commercial vehicles. The engine for that split? The NEV revolution. And that revolution was the opening that a new guard of fast-moving private companies needed to completely upend the old order, leaving the traditional state-owned giants behind. And the source material concludes that this isn't just a temporary shakeup. This new order, it looks like it's here to stay. It's sustainable. And that leaves us with one last really big question to think about. What happens next? As these new, incredibly competitive, NEV-focused Chinese companies solidify their power at home in the world's biggest market, what does it mean when they turn their sights to the global stage?